Meowdy, konnichiwa, hello, hello, Krola. Did I have any more? Mihal. There we go. How go? Long time no talk. It's been 54 years, in fact. Oh, I think my tea's steeped. Kroloha. Oh, shoot, I need to add another one now. I'm not gonna remember. But, regardless... I have no idea how much of this first case is left. So I don't know if dallying here is a good idea or not. It'd be cold? Yeah, no, it is really cold right now. Well, it's okay. I don't need to go outside. Actually, I went outside today. It was very cold. Oh shoot, you won your 50-50? Let's go! Aren't you keeping a spreadsheet or something? How is that going, the ratio? Oh, that is really hot. Then you got lazy, honestly, big mood. Imagine not going all in. It's all or nothing? I don't know. But, oh man. I don't know how much snow Atlanta usually gets. I'm going to assume it's nothing. Usually. It's weird. It's just really frigid out where I am, actually. I mean, there is snow on the ground, I guess, technically. I wouldn't mind more. If it's gonna be this cold anyway, I wouldn't mind more snow. Like, listen, shoveling snow, I'll deal with it. It's fine. It's exercise, I think. Maybe. Cherry blossom ice cream shake. Huh. I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting that from a burger place. Hey, if you do try it, then, you know, let me know how it is. I don't know if I would actually like cherry blossom flavored things. I haven't had any cherry blossom flavored things. I like the smell, but like, I don't know how it would feel eating flowers. I had a lavender candy once and it was just very, very perfumey. Freezing rain. Oh, shoot. Yeah, no, freezing rain is so much worse, actually. Makes for some pretty photos, but don't plan on going anywhere. Cherry blossom soda. Huh. I'm going to assume it has like a lighter flavor than like than lavender does, because I think that's the only flower I've consumed. Chrysanthemum counts actually, because I've made that into tea before. Much lighter? Okay, maybe I would like it. I don't know. I should try it one day. But you know what I should also try? Yo. Anyway, this weather's kicking my butt. Anyway. Oh, speaking of cherry blossoms, blossoming eternity. Ayy. The admin of remote learning. Oh my god, you're right. Snow days are a thing of the past. Wait, no, that's so sad. Ooh. There we go. Ooh, revenge. The roo-woo. I will roo-woo this day. I tried to combine it with revenge, and that was not going to work. Cherry Blossom Soda was at McDonald's. Huh. Oh wait, no, if it was in Japan, that makes a lot more sense. They have, like, cherry blossom flavored everything. Trial and error with these puns, because we're in a trial. And there's also a lot of error. I make a lot of errors. If it snows, you can miss work. That's true. I mean, as long as you don't have remote work options. Cancel school year because you're in a house and there's no... Oh! Don't mind me, I'm trying to get back to that dialogue option. I accidentally clicked past. That's the only reason I'm going through this. Okay. It was this one. Alright. Hello. Ooh-wee. Alright. It flipped as soon as you got in. Did you bring in the Did you let the raccoons in? You gotta watch when you open the door. Like, make sure it doesn't slip in. You know? Like, I don't know how they're getting in through the attic, but like, it might be best not to make it easier for them. They're from the Costco? How deep does this lore go? The Costco lore video? Actually, what's really great is, like, I'm basically caught up on VODs now. Which is really, it was so happy for me. I just felt very elated. Yeah, you gotta close the door. Make sure you, instead of not letting the cat out, you gotta make sure the raccoons don't get in. Objection, the raccoons are innocent. Prior evidence shows that they are not. They rolled a stealth check. Ah, shoot, they're good at those. They have advantage. Dang it. It's what happens when you're an eldritch raccoon. Alright, so I believe last time in this case, she butted in, so we have to use this with something. I need to roll an int check, a history check to remember what was even happening. What do I have? I know it has to be something with this statement because she interjected. They were talking about the poison? Yeah, they were arguing about the stolen poison. Okay, but the 8-ball is just colluding with the raccoons, right? Or maybe, check the 8-ball again, make sure it's not like fluffy, has a tail. Yeah, exactly, it's sus. Let's see. They were discussing the poison. I don't think I have evidence for this, so I might just have to press it. Hold it. The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. If we let her work on it for some godforsaken reason. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. She got away with it once already. Indeed. All visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult.
It was in the pen! It was in the pen! Check the pen!
That's true. I pestered Professor Mikotova until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we've been developing, you see. And since Soseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance.
That reporter sure knew a lot of details about this poison, given the fact that you only said it was poisonous. The pin? The pineapple. I need to check the pineapple.
I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with the deadly poison. I wanted to look my old enemy in the eye! Surely, you can understand that!
To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison.
Soseki has a style, and I respect it.
I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government, even. It would be a complete disaster.
And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually.
Oh, yes. Many Memo-san, one small question, if you don't mind.
I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy?
Clearly, you were outside the beach hut, listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably, then, it was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard.
Yeah?
Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else.
Sorry, don't know what you're talking about. Ugh, is it hot in here, or is it just my hat? Yes, look at this. The entire article is almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word. Ugh.
This is why you don't plagiarize. Well, Many Memo-san?
As a journo and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of Many Memoism.
I feel like you have to, if you're... Right? If you're being questioned in a legal context, you might have to reveal your sources, right? You gotta use MLA format. Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut.
Is Japan a free country in this era? I have no idea.
The details of the poison article have been updated. Ooh. So that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her.
Just shut up! My stories never stink! Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record.
Oh boy, is it more lies and perjury? I can't wait.
Very well. You may amend your formal testimony.
What are you doing, running a marathon? The point is, if you poison someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well.
That's it? That's really it? How many pencils does he go through? All of them. He has the entire supply of pencils.
That's where all of my lost pencils went! This guy took them!
Alright, gotta take him down now. There'd be no reason to stab. Okay, but I think I remember last time I came up with, like, possible reasons, but I don't know if I have evidence for why she would be stabbed. Other than her looking real stabbable. Why would she be stabbed again? Who needs evidence? Apparently just the defense. Prosecution does not need it. Even the smallest bit? Okay. It wouldn't be this. I mean, I think the thing is that, like, she recognized it. Recognized the poison, so, like, you know, to stab her to make her die faster. But otherwise... I think I'm gonna have to press this.
Hold it!
Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure your victim would die. And that's horse dung. What? That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless. I wouldn't put pepper on it at all. Unless they're talking about, I mean, I don't have spicy peppers, but like, you know, like the sliced ones, I guess you could put that on there? Oh, is the audio desynced? Oh no. I would not know how to fix that, uh-oh. Is it desynced for me talking, or is it desynced for like the game? If I click this, how in sync is this? Seems fine. Okay, might be a... Okay. Weird. Alright. Maybe. It's weird that this has been consistent with Twitch doing that to people, because I remember that happened to someone last time, too. Oh, Twitch, you're drunk again. Sometimes it just does that, TM. Although, it might surprise you to learn that I am a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer as it happens. Oh. I dearly hope it's not black pepper on like, lamia. I mean, I guess it depends on the like soup base and stuff, but like generally my family doesn't do that. If it's peppers, it's like the spicy ones that you slice up. I don't know. Twitch just being a quirky little guy. Yeah, Twitch is just quirky like that, TM. Sichuan peppers, yeah, like, you know, if you add like those sorts of things, like, I get it. I'm a baby when it comes to spicy stuff, but like, I get it. That would be reckless. I am absolutely reckless!
Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. And yet, this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to have been a good reason for that.
If it was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Pratt, then clearly he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut.
Yes, that's undeniable.
But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation.
Sorry? What change?
The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishwoman.
Ah! Yes, that's it! That's when Memo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. That could be the key here.
Ah! Right, because he only knew it was a potent poison initially. If the victim had unwittingly taken the poison already, the reporter would have had no reason to stab her. On the face of it, that logic sounds entirely reasonable.
But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder.
If we could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her even after the poisoning, I feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for.
Yes, I agree. And in order to do that, I must try to glean more information.
Okay, I'm gonna take a look at that article again then. I still love this of just, oh yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman, and it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. What do you mean? Anyway. Framing someone else? No, we're not allowed to have logic and reason here. Ah, no, wait, no! I didn't mean to click! No! Take me back, I just need to go back to that statement. Ah!
E.
Okay. Speaking of, I need to click E. Alright, I need to look at this article again. So, what did he discover now that he knows it's not just deadly poison? The smallest amount entering the body could prove fatal in minutes. It could not be detected. Oh, yeah, no, for framing. Actually, shoot, I think that's the reason. Because this cannot be detected, they wouldn't be able to prove that she did the murder. They would just be like, oh, she just died on the spot. That's so weird. So that's actually probably it. Oh, and also, wait, did it say something about the military? The military would also get involved, so yeah, that's fair. It's this. Objection! Just like with the kurare. Yeah, it's almost like getting poison from those research laboratory has been proven consistent. We should just not have... Well, I mean, Miss Brett's dead, so I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Well, I can think of one reason. What? But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? If it's the sound E. Of course we did! There can be no question of that! After all, when we were all in the laboratory together, all we were told is that it was a terrible toxin! And there is one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Membami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Objection! Where are you going with this counsel?
Manimemo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it.
Gah!
Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put.
When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison.
At which point, Manimemo-san overheard some worrying information.
Worrying information? What worrying information?
Oh wow, I don't even have to point it out. The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained. Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could come from is my lab. I did it, I'm the murderer. Anyway. And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. Why is Mikotoba developing poisons anyway? I think it's because they're looking into poisons for, like, possible medical uses. If I remember right anyways, because, like, kurare they were looking into as potentially developing as an anesthetic. This one seems like it was commissioned by the military. So, doesn't seem like they chose to. Why do they keep giving us poisons to work with? I just want to make medicine! Anyway. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people, instead of the stabbing, which reduces it to a handful of people. Oh! Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. Yeah, the first case, I think it's, I hope, is that they were considering using it as an anesthetic, and they never went through with it. I hope that they did not go through with that. Yeah, no, poisons as antidotes for poison. You gotta do that. Like, I think to make antidote, it's like you get it injected into, I think it's like a horse or something. So, a creature that's not gonna be really affected by the poison, but is gonna produce antibodies for it. and then you use that, clean it up, and then use that as like a general like antidote. Something like that anyway. Why do I know that? Anyway, it's a paralytic, it's such a bad choice. Yeah, exactly. From the outside it looks like it's an anesthetic. Too bad they don't realize that it leaves you in fully conscious. Actually no, they realize that eventually. So maybe they realize that it's not a good idea. Probably depends on the poison. No, also true. Oh, that's probably, yeah, that's probably where I got it from. I saw a snake venom video probably in the past. I watched a lot of random stuff when I was younger. However, we don't have a cure for pufferfish. Who knows? A lot of things are venomous and poisonous. Hello! That's also true. It is the early 1900s, and also, like, they also don't realize that snakes, in fact, can hear things. So, you know, information's a little bit... None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Manbami-san being no exception. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson, unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you. Right, and many memo. I love this objection theme a lot, actually. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that was a terrible mistake. Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. Oh yeah, no, Great Ace Attorney music is just so good. It was made by the same person who did Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, right? Because like, that soundtrack is also kind of amazing, and I think I heard that it was the same composer. Huh. If you ate pufferfish and it contained the poison, best way of treatment is to just hook them up to a breathing aid and pray. Ooh, boy. Yeah, Layton versus Phoenix Wright specifically, which was a very good game, and I would play it for stream if I hadn't already played it like 3 times. It's probably, I would just be replaying the game. As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learnt of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the read screen. Objection! The Maya scene? No, I know exactly what scene you're talking about, and yes, it got me too. Oh man, it's so good. Like, I know they wouldn't do what they did, but also it's just like, in that game, it's just like, they wrote it really well. The aftermath and stuff. Oof. Yeah, isn't that the case with a lot of sea creatures? You just stop breathing, or it's like, it affects your brain or something, and it's just... your organs just shut down. It's pretty terrifying. The ocean is scary. But what good could that possibly do? Using the alarm. Oh no, that's honestly very valid. I love that remix of Layton's theme. It's just missing one part of it from the Curious Village theme that I really like. But otherwise, it's like perfect. The stonefish is a middle finger to logic. Yeah, who needs logic? The ocean is scary. It said no to logic, and we can't do anything to stop it. How are we gonna stop the ocean? I think the only one that can have a handle on it is the moon, and the moon is really far away, and I don't think it's gonna do anything about it. So what happens when you have an absentee celestial body? I don't know anymore. We know more about the surface of the moon than the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, exactly. The ocean's scary. Just blow up the moon. Yeah, just pull a Dragon Ball and blow up the moon. Stonefish can live out of water for up to 24 hours. Can't betta fish do that too, because they can breathe in air? Isn't it obvious, Council? I'm getting distracted by fish facts. The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Oh shoot, your Cherry Blossom Shake is here. I'm ready for your review. You know that stones can stay out of water indefinitely? And fish cannot? Generally? Depends on the fish. Casual Geographic. I just absorbed a lot of... I think I had a lot of, like, animal fact books when I was younger. It has sprinkles on it. Oh. Does it look like petals? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would have ever suspected.
This is extraordinary.
Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. Which she attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. What up? I think we got this guy. I don't know if this is the end of the case because they might throw another curveball at us, but it feels very conclusive.
Hora! 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 The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration.
Oh shoot, you're right, there's no freakout. Oh no, it's not concluded yet.
Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward?
Well, there are a number of... I mean, yes, I counter completely. Objection.
The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his top knot, he is clinging to lost hope. Oh, dang. Okay. Oh my gosh. Man, demolish this man.
Lost hope?
Oh no, it's still going. Who do I punch? Who do I blame for this? Oh, you! Oh, he threw his hat away. You pathetic, useless, fallen samurai!
Fallen? Who are you calling fallen? My burgeoning
success is on the rise, I think is what he said. Growth is on the rise! Is this freakout? I don't know. This could be the last segment. His hair has a name? Oh. Yeah, Susato, no, that's, Ryutaro Naruhodo, definitely, Ryunosuke's cousin. Definitely cousin. Absolutely. Not a disguise. Not at all. Ryunotaro, yeah, exactly. I don't need a counter-argument! What are you talking about? It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the I thought he was admitting to it. Oh wow, cool, he admitted to it. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter-argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. He admitted to the stabbing? Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. Whereas I base my news on facts.
Facts? Well, what do you mean? Explain yourself.
I don't believe in journalistic integrity. I mean, there isn't any here. I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here in my many memos. Every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Show You Know News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word.
But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the...
Oh, no, I know exactly how he snuck it out. So, this is a moot point. We do need to address it, though. That's fair. But I know how he did it. It's in the... Just test the pen.
Indeed. All visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult.
Yeah, the fountain pen. The moment he, like, they said that they had to sneak it out, I'm just like, oh, it was probably in the fountain pen. That's why she was holding the pen at the end, to be like, yeah, implicating this guy. How's that then? Blown the story wide open? See, I write in many memo, a mere reporter from the Show You News. Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory.
Well, you have the pen. You got this. But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. And if that's the case,
As you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here.
It's a good thing his pen is also labeled with his initials and his place of work. Like, good for us. Put your name on it. Oh, he is sweating. Oh, what's your point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin? Man, everyone just thinks Ryutaro is very attractive, I guess. Charisma, plus 20.
My point is this. There is one way that you, Memo-san, could have stolen the poison that day. I have heard enough verbal conjecture now. Thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question?
This.
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen.
A fountain pen? How can that possibly be relevant?
These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now.
You know what? Androgynous man? Yeah, Bishonen. I guess that Ryutaro would be very Bishonen.
I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else. These newfangled pens are merely a fad.
Weasel hair? Is that generally used in calligraphy brushes? Androgynous, not being overtly feminine or masculine presenting.
Well, as a forward-thinking metaphors, obviously I love my fountain pen. Suck up a soup.
That's a different language that I cannot pronounce.
Oh, did that not go through? Hold on. Oh no, it disconnected. Oh no, it's because of that blip from earlier. I will do that. There we go. Soupson? Soupson, okay.
Suck up a soupçon of some sumptuous ink, and one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye!
That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with later.
Oh, we do still use weasel hair for some brushes. Oh, that's interesting. I do calligraphy sometimes, when I remember to. Usually for Chinese New Year, actually. But like, I don't know what my brushes are made of. I think it's sheep or some type of farm creature? Well, one of them's probably horsehair. Oh, weasel brushes would be expensive if it's not commonly used.
You know, like... Why are you buying clothes? Why are you buying weasel hair at the soup store?
It was made out of cheese. Yeah, my calligraphy brushes are made of cheese. It's very it's not practical, actually. Crab hair? Crabs don't have hair. Weasel, pig, horse are the most common natural material. I guess it's probably horse then.
What does all this talking of sucking up ink have?
I should have blended it in.
And just as it's possible to suck ink up into the reservoir, it's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course.
My word! Can this really be?
Well, Memo-san? When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir!
Objection! More absurdity! That never happened!
Then test the pen. True, we've heard that there were some procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen, of all places?
No, I'm a little ashamed to say. But for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say.
I'm so proud of Ryutaro, Naruhodo, cousin of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Many Memo-san. So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act, whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass that she stole from the restaurant 9 months ago and kept in her bag this whole time.
There could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim.
The glass that also probably had kurare in it. I'm never gonna let that go.
And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand.
Am I allowed to say, do you have proof of that? Cause like, come on.
Objection!
Please, can we finally use this against him? No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink?
What?
As you can see for yourself if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? The basket of pencils, that's what. No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness, what do you have to say in your defense?
Lick the pen? Oh no, we don't need another death. So, this is how our modern justice system works, is it? So what if the ink in my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps?
Oh, he's going Wolverine.
Oh no! I can always claw my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve. Oh no. Oh! Wait! Hold on! Is he trying to impale us with pencils? You claim I sucked the poison up into my pen. That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again!
It looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish the matter.
Can we just test the freaking pen? It's so easy. Can he be accused of assault? He can be accused of assault and also stabbing someone. He admitted to that one.
As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends on whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence.
Easy, I have the thing. Ha! No such evidence could possibly exist!
Objection!
Many Memo-san, this is how our modern justice system works.
What?
In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are all well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you.
Very well then, I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence.
This is it then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle.
I can't do an Australian accent. But I was thinking more kind of Newsies, New York adjacent without being New York. But yeah, this. We can just test it. No, like, perjury is apparently not a crime most of the time. It's crazy.
Counsel, what is that bottle?
This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question.
Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method.
Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison. A reagent? What? One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Many-Memo-san, fountain pen, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt. No, you can't! I won't!
Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat.
Oh god, if he breaks the bottle and is like, well, whoops, guess you can't test it, so I'm innocent. Oh my god, that was a really dumb twist. Like, that's so evidence of guilt, you know?
Your Excellency.
The defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once. Oh no! This isn't my fault! The Empire drove me to this! Trying to hold its head high as a civilized nation, but bowing its head to every foreign nation, I took up arms in the form of the mighty pen. I fought tirelessly to all in the name of justice and righteousness. Yes, many. Susato, with me! Oh my god! Excuse me? Finish! Oh my god!
Did I do it right? That was a Susato takedown, wasn't it?
I can't believe we just Mortal Kombat finished this guy. I learned it from my friend Susato, definitely. Dramatic finish! Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown. A 2-Taro takedown.
The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present.
Do we know how it reacts? Maybe it explodes. Boom! When I saw it there in the lab, the poison, the devil got hold of me and I decided to do it on a whim. I excused myself. I'll try to put that somewhere else. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully. Careful-wooly. What was everything that he said? I wonder if it's in here, actually. Oh, it is in here! I did... Okay, I got here. I took up arms in the form of the mighty pen. I fought tirelessly on the battlefield of news, all in the name of justice and righteousness. Yes, Many-Memoism is the paragon of justice. Many memo. Okay. And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some more of some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. Yes, that's right. Answer me one thing, Many-Memo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Murder, probably. Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. Oh. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journo like me to pass up.
Then why did the English woman end up dead?
I had to test its capabilities. I went into that hut intending to quiz her on the situation. That's all. As a reporter. A known killer, enjoying full freedom. Evading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face. Yeah, that sounds about right. And the swan laughed too. It was very eerie.
Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism.
Oh my god, she has like cocktails and stuff too. That's crazy. She's just being pampered.
Really? You must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian.
But what did you call me?
This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very depressing. You see our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from.
Man, brave, bold words to say for someone within stabbing distance. And that's when I remembered about the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time.
What a terrible tale.
In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible, but I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done, when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journo spirit getting all fired up. It's weird that this is very understandable, because we did go through that whole case with Brett, and she was certainly someone. I'd like to ask you something. Yes? You often talk about justice. But surely, as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought. There's no justice in the press. Sorry? After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what had happened in that courtroom.
Oh yeah, it was a secret trial.
And finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up. That's what it was. A cover-up? What do you mean?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful of what you say.
I mean, isn't the, you know, the penalty for murder death anyway? I don't think he has much to lose. Oh, come on, doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national. Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet that puffed-up Englishwoman was going to sail away into the sunset a free woman. The only possible explanation is that behind the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan. What sort of deal? I'd done my research, dug up all the dirt. It was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up.
Came under pressure from the government, you mean?
If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself? Let's not forget, Memo-san, that you committed murder yourself, and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. What? Yeah, you don't really... He hasn't exactly expressed remorse for, you know, framing an innocent person. So, yeah. The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all. Oh man, we just broke his spirit. I suppose. It's kind of sadder that he just deflates like that, actually. Dang.
It would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense. Ryutaro naruhodo.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Sorry, Your Excellency, just musing in a manly way here.
It's almost unbelievable that this is your first experience of the Supreme Court.
It was an excellent performance. I almost didn't see through your disguise. Anyway.
In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Oh. Naruhodo-san. Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago, and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land.
That's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries.
Well, bye, I'm going to Britain now. Thank you.
So, Prosecutor Algae, do you have any final thoughts?
Huh? Why does he have... When did he...
Prosecutor Algae?
Taketsuchi of the Aochi clan have been bested by a callow youth not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today.
Wait, is that a knife? Wait a second. Is he about to... We're gonna stop this, right? Right? Don't commit Sudoku, guy! Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Silence!
In the courtroom.
Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade. For that is the true path to Aochiism.
Aochiism? One hopes that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness. Is someone gonna stop him? Is someone gonna stop him? I mean, it's probably his hair, but like, yeah, okay. Oh, get rid of that stupid top knot. Let's go.
Sprig of my top knot, the time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Taketsuchi.
Hope is lost forever is kind of a banger way to end a haiku, though. Very clean cut. The sparkles! Hope is lost for— oh wait, is it 6 syllables? Dang it! It's a banger way to end a poem. There we go. Everyone's praying for the top knot. Oh my god. A moment of silence. Alright, cool. Moment of silence for the top knot over. Now, in regard to the defendant, Rei Memami-san.
Yes, Your Excellency?
I've reached my final verdict. Guilty! I hereby find you. I mean, court theater's a term for a reason. I don't think we have fireworks in this one. Yeah, we don't. Where are the petals coming from? There isn't a balcony or anything up there. Court is adjourned. I will see you again never. Goodbye, based judge. W judge. Alright.
It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing.
I'm just going to imagine that she's imagining a hamster on his shoulder. Like, this is just, I don't know.
Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san?
The outfit will make more sense later.
Susato! Susato!
Thank you! Thank you so much! You were so dashing in there!
Hey, and Father!
Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you— oh no. I think I'm going to cry.
It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end, too.
The only reason I'm still here is because of you.
Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Rei.
Oh, never mind. We're not— we interrupt. We interrupt your wholesome ending for taking a break. In the middle of the conversation, I just turn around and leave. So I'm gonna actually get more hot water for my tea.
'cause I'm running low. I shall be right back.
Oh wow, just in time. Hello! Another bug? Wait, what happened? Huh? Oh! Wait, you can do negative numbers? Uh-oh. Wait. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. It's... Okay, let's see if I can fix this. I might be able to fix this immediately. Maybe. Possibly. Wait. I need to understand all these things. Oh my god. No, it's not that one. Shoot. I will figure that out later. Dang it. Not the math! Alrighty. I will... Oh. Fish. I don't know if fish is a apparently the answer is nothing. Fish is too powerful to be captured by Gotcha. Alrighty.
I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you.
Susato, don't be so standoffish.
Sorry?
We're friends, equals, and the trial's over, so no more of this formal super humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger, to throw caution to the wind.
Caution to the... what?
I'm the great defense lawyer Ryutaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something.
Right, I see. I'll, think about it, Ray.
On a date, right?
At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anybody else we could throw together?
I think that she did say so right there.
I hope you're not looking at me, Ray.
Oh, my goodness, no, of course not. Of course not.
There it is at last. Ray's lovely smile.
You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Thank you. But I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro. I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba now.
Man, flipping in between languages in my brain is so weird.
So, I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame.
What? What is happening?
Soseki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well.
Is that really you? Yes, I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me. Sato Mikotoba.
Don't. So dashing, so divine.
Everyone is attracted, I guess.
No!
Doubly dashing! Yes, and devilishly divine. Just look at you! I had no idea, Mrs. Sato-san Esquires, that you were locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire's cousin! Astonishing, astounding, ace, attorney! Oh my god, roll credits, we finally got the title of the game!
Poor Soseki-san. So confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in.
Am I a boy? Am I a girl? Oh, but everyone thinks I'm hot and that makes everyone gay. Shoot, you're right.
But after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Soseki-san was free to return to Japan, alive, and not dead.
The one person who got away from the Reaper.
And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author.
I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea. I'm a chief inspector at the police bureau, who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less.
Wait, that's not a real turtle! It's bobbing its head like a little bobble toy. No!
I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see.
Just two, really, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime event. I hope. Oh, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector.
Well, I am a professional, of course.
I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do.
Well, yeah, there's blood down his mouth.
9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. Though, that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama?
Oh, Kazuma. This time shoot, he was the turtle. Like the actual, like, the bobblehead was actually the person underneath. Also, hello, Happy New Year. From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean? I'm talking about the murder that the Englishwoman committed at the end of last year. Ah, yes, it was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally, The mystery is, why did she kill him? Now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer. I don't think she was ever gonna tell us. Not gonna lie.
On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter. With Mr. Sholmes, the great detective, I mean.
Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. My arch-nemesis. How lightly you utter his name!
Well, according to the stories published about him in The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine, by the name of John H. Wilson.
The fact that we're telling them before we tell Iris is so messed up, genuinely.
What? Dr. Wilson?
I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. And if that's really true, then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again.
As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born. I abandoned you. I went out to get milk.
Yes, grandmother told me about it very bitterly. She was kind of tearing apart the stuff that she was sewing.
On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University. But I also serve another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs.
Yes, I was aware of that as well.
In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you.
Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan?
Oh yeah, because he's clearly okay.
It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you'd collapsed with a high fever, and you were growing weaker by the day.
What? Where did that news come from?
That's what I'd like to know. Because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way, or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of.
Dear me. Do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato? I'm sorry, my dear. I simply can't. Arg, let me go! Many memos-on?
So, one throw wasn't enough for you.
I've got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor! Me? I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. In that visiting student's fate. Visiting student? Giselle Brett, you mean? No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago.
What? Student of law? He must mean Kazuma-sama. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama?
Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Ah! Oh god, he got sent into the shadow realm. Oh my god! Guys! Holy crap, he's dead! I'm not gonna lie, wasn't expecting the judge to be able to do that. Yeetus deletus, and I think his neck has been deleted. He's the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Clearly.
Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. What were you officers playing at?
Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. Please don't throw me. Holy crap. They don't tell us that the judge delivers the death sentences personally. Yeah, you just get flipped into the air and onto the ground. Well, yeah, execution delivered.
I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Eugene, and it's a good job I came by.
He was about to reveal the probably next major plot point in the game. Heh.
Yes, thank you for dealing with him, and I'll be there shortly.
Oh, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency! The trial's over, I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend. Sei Sou Jigoku.
Oh! You know each other. Is that like a... Is that a little bit of bias or something? I'm sure it's fine.
And may I say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance.
Oh, so everyone knows! Who was fooled by the disguise? Probably just Aochi.
Susato?
Did you know all along? From the start of the trial?
Oh, a judge sees everything, Susato. Oh, I couldn't let you take the risk. If Seishiro here hadn't known, and then he'd recognized you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand, as an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we? Yes, having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address.
Before you go, Father.
Sorry, my dear, we shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date.
Guess we'll never know!
But well done again, both of you. You did admirably.
Well, I think that all that happened is that the judge was just not gonna call us out for being a woman in court. 'Cause that's just not allowed. So that's probably the only thing that he waived. 'Cause like, he was willing to say guilty several times. Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting the guy to get sent into the Shadow Realm and then see him actually collapse in the background. Like, I can't believe we saw him die on screen.
Oh, thank you very much.
What did you think of my Seishiro sling, huh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that.
Dang, wouldn't believe it, judging by how far he went.
Whatever could Father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brett, about Dr. Wilson, and now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with Father sometime, when nobody else is around.
Oh my god, is that a death flag? Wait, no! They're not gonna kill the dad, right? They wouldn't, right? Cause like, otherwise how would we not figure it out? Because there's no way they're gonna have us like figure this out right now. Oh no. Judicial Assistant Mikotoba Esquires, could I have a word? I'm still here. Please don't throw me. Why are there 3 people here who can throw people?
Oh, yes, of course, Osaki-san. What is it?
I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see. There's something I need to tell you. My cat went missing!
Oh?
I believe, that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England.
This, I have to hear. Please, Soseki-san, tell me at once.
I will.
As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on the ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report.
My father?
He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan.
What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in?
I don't remember.
Wait, what? No, I was kidding.
I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in.
Of course, I could never forget.
Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case.
The second one? You mean the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first. What was the second one?
The first one, I'm pretty sure, was the, you know, coincidental knife flying out of the window, ricocheting off of the top of the window, and then impaling someone walking along the streets below. Like, that was the first one. What was the second one? Was he involved? Yeah. I did the optional stuff. I don't even remember doing a second case involving this guy. As far as I was concerned, he just left. What second case?
Well, I don't care! I don't have to listen to what the dastardly detective says! Anyway, the point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions! That horrific, hideous, heinous case of the haunted lodgings!
Oh wait, is that the second one? No, I don't think he showed up with Eggert. He just he left by that point because he really wanted to get back to Japan. If I remember right, anyway. Wait. He did mention the haunted lodgings, so maybe it was that case? Because it did involve his lodgings in the end. And that was the case that happened before he left. Unless there was one in between that was just off screen, yeah.
That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan.
And Sholmes said it was forbidden to talk about.
I thought that whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
Let me think, because there were things that Sholmes forbade that one. So he's in the know about something as well. He did, in the last game, forbid Iris from publishing The Hound of the Baskervilles. So that's probably related in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how yet. But, like, I'm gonna grab some red string and a corkboard, and I'm gonna start pinning things. Hound of the Baskervilles is going up top. Oh, cool, we get a fixed cutscene.
The mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
It hurts seeing her in front of Kazuma's grave. Like, man. That's it, that's the whole game. We did it, we solved the mystery. No missing, nothing missing here. No loose ends. What happened? We ended the game, that's it, we're done. End. Okay, that's a lie. The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Oh, are we going back? Back in time? Are we doing the missing case? Because last time the Soseki case was something Kokoro, which makes sense. He wrote a book called Kokoro. All right. Back in time, maybe?
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night.
Oh, so
One
it
of
was
an
this
invisible
case.
Killer and a crime perpetrated
Really?
on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who
No,
had
it's not this
stabbed
one.
the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night.
Huh.
I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet,
Did
though the
Soseki
great
get
detective had at once
framed
discerned
again?
the truth
No
upon
way.
his arrival at the scene.
No shot. He can't have gotten
It only
framed
proved to be the overture that announced the rising
2
of the
days in a
curtain
row.
on a most tragic play.
Okay, so yeah, I thought that the Shakespeare person from last game would have been more important. This is where he is. Okay. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. So this is before she leaves then. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now— oh no! Shoot, no, this is actually present time. I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber.
Oh, because he... Okay, but like, just because he defended a guy who turned out to be guilty...
Like, he didn't... the defense never gets access to the evidence beforehand. I feel like us not realizing it was, like, faked is not on us, but whatever. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. It sounds like me waking up in the morning. That's a lie, I don't actually crumple, but like, in my head, internally, that's what I sound like when I'm waking up. In the morning, yeah, I don't do that either. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. Especially after they threw me onto the actual, literal, metaphorical train. I still remember. They implicated us in a civil suit.
Bruno, good! I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious, as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning. Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, hey, his machine is back! Good for him! This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you, too, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes. I see. So no! Get back up! Back up! Spray bottle! The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Is he still trolling Naruhodo? I would not be surprised. Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, though I don't look for admiration, you understand. No, I demand admiration! Anyway, my hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has. And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. Hey, is that a skull on his shelf? Was that there last time? I don't remember there being a skull. But by you.
Hurley pulled your button off?
Did he need it for an experiment? Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped! Why did it have to happen? Why? Yeah, it happens in the worst of times. Little wonder then that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. As one does? You gotta have extra strings on you, my guy. You're a violinist. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring. He's not... Yeah, he's a violinist with a Strad! He has a Stradivarius! Listen, he's gotta have extra strings for it, right? I know he just throws it on the chair because he got it for 5 shillings, but like, come on.
But Hurley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Well, that really is a surprise. I don't hear you when you talk. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. Goes cold, rather. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
Thank you for reminding me to drink my tea, actually. Thank you, Iris.
Let me just...
Boop, boop, boop. Heck yeah.
Oh, just the right temperature. Yay! And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London, and also an actual doctor. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes as published in Ranced magazine. And also a doctor and inventor. Constant T talks about tea. I don't know what you mean, team. That does not work. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really?
That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun!
Oh, wait, I'm gonna look around. Hey, what's up with this skull? Nothing of note, okay. It's okay, the skull is nothing to worry about, I guess. Thank you for the follow. That machine really is imposing, isn't it? But I can never remember its name.
Hurley calls it his great analytoscope. There we go. Analytoscope. It can analyze anything at all.
That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? An extremely astute question, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry. Well, as Iris said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. But how to interpret those results, that's the key. And I confess I have no idea. Clearly, I'm going to have to construct a great analytoscope to solve the problem. That might not help. Anything else? Ooh. What am I looking at? Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. Gunnels? Mrs. Sato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess.
Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves.
Oh, why not?
Everything's in intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot will come tumbling down. Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement right from the outset.
You make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is, Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. No, if everything has its place, that's tidy enough, you know? Hey look, the Stradivari. Ah yes, Mr. Sholmes' faithful musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous?
Yes, it's a Stradivarius. Though, I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, Runo.
Probably more. Those things are expensive. But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Sholmes? I found it at a pawnbrokery among the forfeited articles. It clearly said Stradivarius on the label. What? The ignorant broker had no idea of its true value, you see. So I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Oh, 55. Yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Herlock Sholmes, bargain hunter! I would say I would go shopping with him, but I feel like I would get distracted and not buy the thing that I was going out to buy. I just have this weird feeling that's what would happen if I went shopping with this guy. But is it really a Stradivarius then? You can hear that. You can hear the difference. If you listen to Stradivarius compared to other violins, you'll know. But of course, my dear fellow, it said so on the label. I think perhaps the ignorant broker had something of a turn for selling. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Not actually much to inspect. Ah, yes, the huge metal chest with the lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut. No, literally, this is why I go out shopping with a list, and I only buy the things on the list.
That chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases.
Yes, so I've been led to believe, though personally I've never actually seen inside.
And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten.
What, is there a beast inside there or something? No, she pulled out a gun? Your $5. Okay, but like getting it for $5 is a good deal. I would get that too. Man, I went to Best Buy to get a battery for my wristwatch. And like that was all I was there for. I go in, I grab it, I go to the register to check out, and I just see these adorable Pokemon plushies and Kirby plushies, and I'm just torn. I'm so torn. Oh my god, I was so tempted. They were like, they were full price, so like the 25 or 30 or something, and I'm just sitting there thinking and thinking. Ultimately, I tore myself away. I took a picture and went, I will suffice with the picture. And I left. But like, in Target instead, yeah, no, I did not get through that one unscathed. I have a Charmander plushie from that particular escapade. It was 20 bucks, come on. It was 20 bucks and like bigger than my torso. It's just a good deal. Anyway. When it gets to this time of year, Londoners seem to leave their hearts alight all day long, and I love it. There's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. But a fireplace in days of summertime is a waste of space. Really no use at all.
Rather like a great detective in days of no crimes and no criminals. Hurley?
But consider this. Instead of a fireplace, a frost place. That's my latest idea. AC? Hello! Sholmes is back. I am happy. Is that a giant Charmander or do I have a tiny torso? It's one of those like, well, I'll say it's like the size of my torso. It's longer than my torso. Does that make sense? Like, it's one of the sleeping line, if I think that's what they're called. I'm not entirely sure. What happened with the case?
We won!
And we saw the judge come in with a steel chair. And also Susato and Rei come in with the steel chair. Anyway. An extraordinary hearth from which emanates a cool breeze in the hot summer months. What do you think? I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history. The principle is extremely simple. One must, of course, light a cold fire in the hearth. Well... Yes, of course, brilliant! Oh my god, he's trolling you again. The trouble is, none of the fires I build ever burn cold. How it taunts me! So, as you British say, it's a bit of a damp squib. Yep, that's certainly a bunch of words that I have not put together. Thermodynamics. These are different pieces of evidence from cases you've solved, aren't they, Mr. Sholmes? Not quite, Mr. Naruhodo, not quite. These trinkets are a selection from cases I've solved with particular aplomb. They are souvenirs of my success. Memories, Mr. Naruhodo, memories. Really, so tell me about the case in which the bust of Napoleon featured. He keeps breaking it, so probably not any of them. I forget. Memories, he says. Wonderful, Mr. Sholmes, wonderful. Let's see. Nothing else here. Last screen for gore. Honestly, fair. Me too. If I leave something for long enough, I look at it and go, where the heck did I get this from? Why is there a weird, I don't know, wooden elephant carved thing with a big ol' eye? That's not on my desk currently, but I do remember that was a weird thing on my desk at one point in time. I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris. Every single day. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Heck yeah, tea.
Well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every day, so it's never the same twice.
When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time.
Oh, yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties.
I mean, okay, cooking is more an art than a science, but baking is more a science than an art, so... What about tea? Tea is more potion making than it is anything else, I guess. I bet Hecate drinks tea.
Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat.
That sounds, ominous. There's an international standard on how to brew tea, and I patently ignore it. Well, listen, they add, like, milk to their tea, so... It does not work for me, most of the time. Unless I'm explicitly making British tea, then I add milk. Oh, yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carp... Final Fantasy XIV again?! We had the Crystal Tower last time, and now we have the Carbuncle? Carby, my friend.
Yes, it's from a case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of the precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see. Especially if it's cut with a rounded top.
really, and this garnet was blue, was it? Well, gems can be any color. Well, a lot of colors anyway.
Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered.
Are there blue garnets? Hold on. I kind of want to look this up. Because, like, I know that, like, sapphires are usually popularly seen as blue, but they can come in many different colors. But can garnets? I mean, is blue garnet real? Incredibly scarce, it seems. Just on a brief Google. Usually red and green. Just get an Alexandrite, and you get the best of both worlds. Oh.
So, who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case.
A proper Sherlock Holmes conundrum, huh? There are so many different bottles up there on that charming little set of white shelves.
Oh, do be careful, Runo. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry.
I don't think I would... I'm presuming they're liquid. I guess they might not be liquid. I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know.
Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids.
I was about to make a joke about Hurley having to be told otherwise, and yeah, no, so that's it. He what?
He said he was hungry.
I'll be extra careful. I'm glad he's alive.
I can type with my eyes shut, you know.
I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun.
That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake.
That's incredible.
But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine.
No! That has the same energy as not saving your work.
Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all.
I think you might have just fallen asleep on the job. At least it was a dream, or a nightmare, I guess. At least it was just that. Alright, nothing left. Would you like to see my armband? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, about this. He does this every day. Shh, not another word. Ah, yes, I see. This would be a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck, and for winter use. Oh my god. Actually, it's the armband I always wear that symbolizes my role as a defense lawyer. Precisely, which leads us to but one conclusion. Your arm is in fact the particularly long neck of a miniature canine. I'm starting to wish I'd never shown him this now. The man's barking mad. I love how he does this on purpose. He's absolutely just screwing with him. And he does this on a daily basis because it's funny. And he's right, it is very funny. Ryunosuke has really funny reactions to things. That's on him, he needs to be more boring. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by International Post.
Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do, we helped the man twice! You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago. Okay, but Iris can't Japanese considering that she knows their Morse code. No. Susato was the one that translated it, if I remember correctly. Wasn't Iris just like, she just recognized that it was Japanese Morse code or something? I can't remember. I just remember the Susato translated it because she's like, yeah, this will be useful, and then realized it wasn't useful. But then it became useful. Ah! The mustached, twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache. Oh, Iris was testing it in Japanese Morse. Oh, in that case... maybe she just knows hiragana but doesn't know, like, enough kanji? Because the Morse code would probably have to be in hiragana, right?
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although, I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you. Clearly. So, what was this startling news penned by Mrs. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? No! I mean, I'm not Sholmes, but like, no, I don't remember. Ah, yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Miss Susato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago, for what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh? Ah, shoot, I don't think he's gonna let us investigate. On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Miss Susato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that. Are you sure? Don't gaslight her. Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mrs. Sato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. Not quite. No, it just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But, according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
Mikotoba was actually in the grave. She brought a gravestone into court, and then that's who was giving her advice the whole time. I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Flashback? No. Flash present. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Mrs. Sato's father is hiding.
Ellie, do you know what it's all about?
Oh, what? He put on his jacket! Ah, well, who can say? What, but you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellows. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. Suddenly, all of a sudden, within the past minute, and a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley, don't worry. See you later.
We're still gonna look at the case notes. We're absolutely looking at the case notes. He didn't give us a good reason not to. He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. Also, the Hound of the Baskervilles was forbidden from being published. Wait, unless that one was the Hound of the Baskervilles one? Was that the manuscript? By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha! I found them at last.
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case, that's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings.
Okay, so it's not the Hound of the Baskervilles, never mind.
Do you want to read them, Runo?
Absolutely, thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light. Right, Hound of the Baskervilles, Wilson was still there. Right. And yeah, no, obviously they wouldn't be asking about what that case was about if they were there for it.
That's the spirit.
And now that we look into this case, we've got a hit on us. And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that followed. Flashback. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue. And I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. No! I can't believe we've been fired. It was 6 months ago. A mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. So he got framed twice? Dude! Cursed indeed. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. Okay, but to be fair, world-famous detective, and also a child who has a doctorate and is an incredibly acclaimed writer, probably one of the most famous in the world. I don't know. I think that's fair. The fog was thick and nobody saw her attacker, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. That man was Soseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. He's living off of them? Yeah. Hey, I mean, if they offered. Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation! Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. Iris has all the inventions. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. So, Susato-san and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. I can't believe he got framed in the span of 2 days. He's literally trying to— there's a rat in here. This is not the greatest hospital if there is literally a mouse in the corner. I mean, I guess the walls themselves are, like, breaking, so, at least it's not green, am I right? Oh no, there's a lot of— So green dye back in the day was very poisonous. It was made of arsenic. Anyway, beside the point. There you are at last! Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not.
Oh. Ah! Oh no!
Well, sorry, Sholmes, I'm gonna be even later because I'm going to go and take a health break.
And stretch break, honestly.
So, I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. Oh, hope our boy survives that surgery. Well, I mean, Shulm survived, so it can't be all, though. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. You're late. What on earth took you so long? I went to take a stretch break.
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. Did that old guy ever find that scalpel he lost? Who knows? Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it's still in him somewhere. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. So there are some good threads on Blue Sky regarding that. We are still on strike. I don't know how much I can say otherwise, but there are some good threads there. Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness.
Oh, she's so small.
That bed is like twice of her. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. So, that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with the knife in her back. Dang, really unlucky for that to, like, have hit her dead on, huh? That is... what a coincidence.
Her name is, yes, here we are, Miss Green.
I can only examine. Hey, what's this? This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it? Oh, it's wood. I thought it was like a gold, like, trophy thing, and that's why it was confusing me. No, if it's a wooden figure, that's for anatomy, isn't it? For, like, drawing? There's, like, an easel over there, so... it seems like what it is.
Ah, I don't think that's decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe, used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's... Ryunosuke. Okay, Ryunosuke L. It's not exactly what you call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full figured before.
Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. Expand your horizons, get different proportions aside from stereotypically, what's it called? Stereotypically attractive. Look, there's a photograph in the frame here. Oh, who's this? Okay, so she's not the artist, then.
Oh, yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman.
It looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. Oh, this looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. Ah. Right. Medical... medical stuff from the early 1900s? Late 1800s? Yeah, that tracks. What is this place? A zoo?
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeons, yes, this is a person. Poor woman, I hope she hasn't read this. Bit messed up, but alright. There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you were a patient here, I feel sure you take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I've no doubt you'd managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits, even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Sato. Talk to you in a second. Hey, what's up with this mouse?
A mouse, not Mr. Naruhodo, an enormous mouse!
Vermin in a hospital, that doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking. Ooh, hope he feels better.
That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings.
She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Alright then, let's see. Don't look through her stuff? Change of clothes, no doubt, and...
No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
Anyone's belongings. But the young maiden might have chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel. Why would... You have no right to have those! They're hers! No, Miss Green did not get stabbed again. This is, shortly after. Ah, this looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
They're probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. They keep opening their wounds every time they go running. And there are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look! I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
Is this why Iris had to tell us to not eat the chemicals? Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Sato. Okay, well, that's all.
Hello.
Good morning? Hello, I'm, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, from the Empire of Japan.
Oh no, was it your knife that... are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Mikotoba. Kotoba.
I do not know where to put the stresses in words anymore. It's been 2 hours. Blah.
Pleased to meet you. Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the one? No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come to give you our best wishes.
Mikotoba. Cause like it's me and then kotoba. Like word. Kotoba. That doesn't sound right in my brain. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm just gonna fumble through it forever. Yeah, my English brain does fight with my other languages' brains, so it's just fighting itself constantly. And you can hear that.
Best wishes for me, thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist.
No, you're an artist.
Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back.
That is no correlation there. I, don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Yeah, sometimes it comes out when I'm speaking in Mandarin to my parents. It just suddenly has like an English inflection, and then my mom looks at me funny, and then I correct myself, which is real fun. If every bad artist was stabbed in the back, oh my god. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement, and for it to be a real weird coincidental accident. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. But the case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here, in hospital, I mean.
Indeed it has, my dear madam. Spectacularly by none other than I, Herlock Sholmes. I won't lie, I forgot he was there for a second.
Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. Me coming round seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me.
Oh no! We're also relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are.
Oh, girl! With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Oh, she needs a hug. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts.
Oh my! An Academy of Fine Arts! Great Britain is such a wonderful country!
I don't know if I'd trust therapists in this time period. But a hug might be, you know, in order. Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh, no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
Don't deserve... You deserve a place to stay, I swear. I see. How very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away on the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Centre. Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those of inferior means. Including the maleficent Mr. Moustache. Inferior means? I mean... I suppose Sasaki-san does fit the bill. The government did not give him a lot of money. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine art student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? She's suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh dear me, do forgive me.
If you don't mind. I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh, yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. It's because he spent his budget on books. That's a fair point, actually. Ah!
Is there a Mr. Narrowfodder here? Mr. Narrowfodder?
Narrow fodder? Come on. Even the... Like, you can't get it this wrong unless you're doing it on purpose. Narrow fodder now. Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but...
Oh, Mr. Narrowfodder, good, this is for you. It's a message from a Mr. Saucy Nutmeg.
Soseki Natsume? Nutmeg? You did... Nutmeg? You couldn't even just do that? Saucy nutmeg. Mr. Natsume sent a message to me? Hello, I've been arrested again.
But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume?
Exactly. What's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? Ah! What are you waiting for? Let me see that! Okay. Well, this is most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes, he says. Have you not seen this note? No, how could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once. Murder? Hello, I have been murdered. I'm sorry. Call a cab, time is of the essence. But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. Ah, that will be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Musage's lodgings. Wait, what?
I'll hail a fiacre?
What is that word? They've only been talking about, like, carriages and rickshaws. Fiacre? Oh, it's a French coach for hire. Huh. Oh no, it's French again. My weakness. I'm just gonna give up on pronouncing it. It was only yesterday that Souseki-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address. He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Oh boy, is he in jail again? Do not pass go. Go directly to jail. Fiacre? Fiacre. Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Okay, so we go there first. Oh! Oh shoot! Shakespeare Man's the one who's dead. I thought that he would be like a witness. We'll never hear him talk about his views of Hamlet. What on earth?
Oh my! The gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Locum student, Mr. Naruto is quiet! Mr. Natsume? Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court! Yesterday! I was finally home after 2 days of misery! And then I wake up the next day to this! No early bird should catch a worm like this! Woeful worm without wrinkle! I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Not the horrible hairlock Sholmes! Shoot! Shove off! Shove yourself the door! I never invited you.
Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you? Inspector Siegel! There they are, already. The busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sholmes. I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Oh, shoot. Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything. Or, good morning to you too, sunshine. Okay, it wasn't his apartment that got, this took place in, at the very least. I can't believe this man built a stage here, though. Oi! It's our hands off! Gonna mess up my crime scene. Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance. I know your kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
Oh, someone's in a bad mood. There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there? Oh, is it because there was a fire? Just like 2 days ago? Bad air, more like smoke. Alright, it sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor. What if I talk to Natsume? What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside! And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again! Endless existence of excruciating experiences! So, the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So, did you know the victim? Were you friends? Oh? Oh. You good? What's the matter with Souseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? Is it because he doesn't have friends here? Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever invite me to his room? Never! On my honor, I swear it!
What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. Through that inspector over there! Okay, yeah, I assume I cannot look right now. Well, I guess he is cursed, so... Hi. How's it going, Inspector Siegel? So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? I thought we were currying favor first. Mr. William Shakespeare? Shakespeare? Oh. So, like, does that mean that he's actually supposed to be Shakespeare? Like a ripoff of that? Or, like, is he a, like, in-universe ripoff of Shakespeare? Well, a sham by any other name would smell just as sus. He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. Bit of a dead loss as it happens. Or, just dead.
Mr. Shakespeare.
I was the landlord. Oh, Mr. Garadeb and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. The fella didn't rise at his usual now, so Garadeb got worried and kicked the door down. But doesn't Mr. Garadeb have a bad leg? Oh yeah, you're right there. There was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking. Really? Souseki-san? The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in his house. Miserable life and a miserable end to it. So, what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, not saying it's because the fella looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious. But I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the culprit. I mean cohabiter. Heck, he's being framed again! You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again.
Certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an, odd fellow, doesn't he?
Poor man. How unfortunate.
Anyway,
Can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been a goner that long. Body's still warm. Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. Yeah, I guess I would not recommend that. Shoot. Wait, what else can I examine? Literally nothing, right? Everything else is a don't touch anything until the coroner gets here. Oh. Hey guys, I found Sasquatch. He was on the stage the whole time. Crazy, am I right? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? You need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating! Naturally. There's nothing natural about that pose.
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience, my dear madam. Patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes, and you're already pulling this. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened.
My goodness! But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes?
Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. Oh boy, is he back to trolling Dunosuke for no reason? The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow? No, don't mind me. Forget I was here. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense! You're just gonna finish the— honestly, fair point. Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions? No. Please pretend I'm not here. Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant. Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course. How I feel about that pause. Let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts. We've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? It's interesting because, like, all of the deductions last game, all of them had a reason to be entirely incorrect. Most of them is to troll Dunosuke. I don't know if he has as much of a reason in this one. We might find out. Because usually he's had a reason to troll him, whether that be just as simple as he's being petty, or like, he's trying to, like, let him come to conclusions so that he can get his confidence back as a lawyer. Like, it ranges from very, like, nice and altruistic to he's just really petty sometimes. So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes is logic and reasoning spectacular, Act 1. I do like these segments, though. They're fun. I think he's doing this to troll both Soseki and Dunosuke, though. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Oh, he is foaming at the mouth. Huh. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, what is that? 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap? Meaningful, indubitably. Soap? What? This guy ate soap? I thought that was like, I don't know, maybe like weird garlic butter or something. Like really green garlic butter. Like, and he's just eating it because he doesn't have much on him. I don't know.
soap? Well, I would say that's not poison. That's just soap suds at his mouth, right? Yeah, here's your friendly reminder. Don't eat soap. It will not clean your insides. Why is this soap set so purposefully set upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact, yes. There's literally bite marks in it. I wish that I could say, oh yeah, he didn't eat the soap, but like there's literal bite marks. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course! The fork reveals the answer. No. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Also, I'm surprised that he died, like, still holding the fork. Cause like, would that position, wouldn't the fork fall out of his hand? So it's like he's not even twitching. Yeah, he's very obvious. If not food, why food shaped? It's not food shaped, it's a rectangle! Well, no, paper is something that people eat. Do you eat your phone? I hope not. Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Butter rectangle, oh god, forbidden butter. Though, personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course. What? Wait, is this like a reference to something, or like, is this just him being odd again? Because both are likely. Don't eat candle wax either. Don't do it, guys. Poisoning from soap ingestion. We bought soup at the soap store. We bought soap at the soup store. What about honeycomb? I don't think you should be eating that either. That's beeswax. I don't think you, like, in small amounts if you're using it in, like, chapstick and stuff, like, I mean, you're gonna ingest a little bit of it, but, like, don't crunch it. The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? Well, he did react to murder, so... Would soap and candle wax both have been made from tallow? I have no idea. That's not something I really looked into that much. I think I looked into, like, soap making a very, very small amount, but I don't know anything about wax. Candle wax, that is. The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? This single teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Like me saying that the lady ran away with the wine glass. I'm never, ever gonna be over that one. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Oh, I just realized I should probably change the name because Many Member is gone. He has been drop-kicked and he is many dead. Let's see. He's dead? Well, he got flipped into the air and landed on the ground and stopped moving, so I think it's a fair assumption. Judge, jury, and executioner is the judge. Yeah, it was kind of a wild scene. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. You should see the Mortal Kombat finish too. Whoa, okay, the door is broken. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. That is kind of weird. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap, from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. Interesting. Here's the thing, like, I know that all of the things he draws attention to are going to be important in some way, shape, or form. That lock being broken is especially poignant, I feel like. Like the door being so messed up. Is there some irony of a Shakespearean dying of poison? I don't know, a lot of people die of poison in these games. Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. Okay, that's interesting. I'm surprised that no one has seen through his eccentricism and, like, realized that he's just messing with everyone. Like, no one has picked up on the fact that, like, everything he draws attention to is relevant in some way much later on. Poison just seems widely available and uncontrolled. Yeah, a little bit. You can just walk out with the stuff, honestly. Oh yeah, they did have to kick the door in to get in. That's true. In that case, I'm trying to think about, like, why... Okay. Why he's being obtuse right now. Draw suspicion away from Solseki? There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes. You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? People have eaten weirder. People have just drunk perfume. Poison control exists for a reason. People are curious beings, and I just don't put it past someone to eat soap at this point. Just to try it. I don't know. I think he just gets a kick out of it. Honestly, also fair. I would totally believe it. It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. People drink gas. Like, people will do really weird stuff, so, like, on the one hand, I am more than willing and happy to look for a different reason for why this happened. And hope that he had enough common sense not to, but also, it did look like there were bite marks in that soap. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. Especially if it's shaped like food, but that one wasn't. How extraordinary! Also, people who aren't destitute will see it as appetizing and take a bite. Y'all remember the Tide Pod thing? In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. Have I ever, as a small, dumb child, tried soap? I think I might have accidentally gotten soap in my mouth before, so I would have never needed to try it. I think that's probably what happened. Just like, yeah, that's probably it. It just like liquid soap. And also like the cinnamon challenge, that can also kill you. So, just saying. Yeah, what weird things have I eaten as a kid though? I've eaten paper before. As a small dumb child, I've eaten paper. Oh god, my memory's so bad. Maybe I blocked it from my memory. I feel like I've done stupid things. No? No, huh. No, not grass. I don't think I ate grass. It was too pungent for me. Has too much grass smell. Maybe some plastic and seawater. Seawater, I think, a little bit, because, like, you know, you get told you can't drink seawater, and it's just like, oh, well, you know, maybe you can. It's water, isn't it? And then you realize, yeah, no, abruptly, that's not good for you. Have I touched grass? I've touched grass. Play-Doh, I have not eaten Play-Doh. I feel like I think as a kid I've licked pencil lead before, but I think that was kind of like a dare from other dumb small children. As a dumb small children. As a dumb small children? Multiple. I was multiple children's. Yeah, it only takes once to know it's not edible. You accidentally drank paint water. Oh god, that was one of my fears. Yo, my calligraphy teacher in college talked about, like, cause like, you know, there's a cup for the calligraphy ink when you wash your brush off and stuff. And like, my calligraphy teacher talked about a time when, she was doing calligraphy, and then she reached over to take a drink of some soda, some Coke. It was not that. It was in fact, yeah, calligraphy ink. That was a fun time, apparently. Also, calligraphy ink stains like no one's business. It's kind of nuts. If it gets on something, it's not coming out. Yeah, I was several children that merged into one person. I don't know, according to my older sister, I ate my twin in the womb. I don't know how true that was. So. Anyway. Weird kid behaviors aside. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. I'm going to assume he was a child. Oh god, if you use like actual like drinking glasses as the water jar, that's like doubly scary because you would instinctively reach for that stuff.
And did it?
As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Chinese takeout soup containers. Honestly valid. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it, even if you did. I remember, I think there was a point where I definitely used like water bottles, so it was a real danger for me.
Hello! No need to apologize. Welcome in, welcome in.
Oh, having the chip, that's fair. Associating an individual characteristic to it would definitely help. Oh, right, yeah,
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
Oh, what's that?
It's Mr. Natsume.
Ah!
I couldn't help noticing him, shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched a nerve somehow.
Nonsense! Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. That's just Natsume's natural state of being. Debatable, but debatably true.
I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth.
Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do.
Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place.
In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Course correction. I can't wait for them to spin around this entire room. Okay. We have seen this. Alright. Poison is true. Soap is true. I love how the Last Supper thing is not in question. Like, yep, he ate this. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something or about to eat something. Oh, it's probably that, like, he ate something else, not the soap. But Like, come on.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks.
And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate.
But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap.
Oh, am I... No, I can't... Okay, so there's no bite marks. Fine. Fine, he didn't eat this. Oh, the soap is on the ground. Do you think he was drinking tea with his soap?
The cup's empty, so there's no way of knowing.
Ah, how about this for an idea? Perhaps the cup was full of water. And he was dissolving soap in it so he could gulp as much down as possible. You try to act as the voice of reason, but sometimes your reasoning is just as questionable as Sholmes's. Yeah, I really would. My first instinct would be that he ate the soap.
Please remember that he may not actually have been the soap lover that he's been made out to be.
Okay, wait, hold on. The soap's on the ground. I didn't notice this earlier.
Ah.
Other piece of soap. Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamspear must have really loved the stuff.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruhodo. Look closely at the soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table?
What the? How can that be? He didn't eat the soap!
I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
Well, he wasn't about to eat it. Is it that? Okay, I think it's just that... Alright, it's just saying that he didn't eat the soap. Because the fork is obviously not the answer, so it's probably just this. Alright. Oh, the little mouse! Oh my gosh, it's been a while. We hadn't even seen it. Why does he have a little mouse?
The little mouse has a little sword! This bipedal mouse is so cute!
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. That's sideways, that's the side eye. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. I would never have taken a second. I really hope that it moves around with him, but so far it's pretty static. But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there is no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then.
Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it.
If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all.
Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it?
I mean, this is the only thing we're allowed to look at, so it's the teacup. He drank the poison. Done. It's the first one. Yeah, it has to be easy. Tutorial deduction. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. It's green tofu. That's weird tasting tofu. Oh, do I have to click something? Oh, never mind. Does he change anything he says here? No, I don't think he does. Mint flavored? I would say looking at it, it'd be lime flavored. Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. Western vessel for infused hot drinks. It's already featured heavily in our deduction so far. Every time they mention tea, I just kind of drink another sip. I'm gonna run out.
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamsphere was having a drink of tea. Huh. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me
is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it. There's more to this deduction than it seems.
We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues.
Oh. Well, I'm glad that the camera has let us finally pan around back here. It's another Western vessel for—
It's a teacup! And it too is empty.
Wow, she got real mad at that one. Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand,
we can assume that this is the cup from which Mr. Shamsphere was actually drinking.
But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we've deduced up to now is turned on its head. I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel.
Oh god, he's gonna be framed again! It's gonna be our fault! Alright. Alright. Is this so that Sholmes can get away with saying that he wasn't the one who convicted him this time? Is that the whole reason that he's making us do it? Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's Last Supper, there was a guest present. He had a cool top hat. At the very least, we can say now with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable! To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. Oh, here we go. Oh, shoot, that is actually new dialogue. Oh no! What conclusions can we draw about this guest? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death? If you were in the victim's room at the time of death, don't stop shaking. Haha, got him. Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. No, it doesn't. I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap.
But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
No, I suppose not. Time to look around again. Well, let's see. Did he actually leave his books here? Why does he keep leaving his books at the scene of the crime? At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see, the titles read: The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq, Canterbury Yearnings, and A Meal for Gabriel.
Those are the exact 3 books. Those are the exact 3 books that he had in the last case. Why are you bringing the same 3 books that got you implicated? I would consider those books cursed. Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed, Soseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them. That's right.
And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean, do you think?
I really don't know what to make of it.
Oh,
Take that!
man. Yeah, Sholmes knew what he was doing. You know what? Because if he implicated Soseki on his own, we would have been pretty adamant that it wasn't him. This making us figure it out ourselves is very, well, we can't ignore what's happening. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth. Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a secondhand bookshop. That's just a coincidence! In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment! I think we're gonna give this guy a heart attack or something. No! Never! Non-negotiable! If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. What is he doing? Having purchased the book 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. Why is he posing like this? So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Did he just moonwalk into the apartment? Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. I'm surprised he's not just T-posing at any point. Yeah, he just danced his way down the street. This is why everyone looks at him weird. It's not because he's a foreigner, it's because he keeps dancing. He's dabbing. And he's just standing there now. In short, there was only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor... Wait, actually? Who is Sholmes looking at right now? In canon. Because Soseki is to his right, behind him. Ryunosuke is there, clearly. The mouse is also over there. Is he breaking the 4th wall? Can he see us? He's looking at us. Oh no. And that visitor... See, they have a stage. It's great for them. Was you, Mr. Soseki Natsume. I mean, we know he didn't do it. He was in Japan in the future, so... Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. We shouldn't have done this in front of the inspector, to be perfectly honest. Can you just tell us what happened so that we can say that you didn't do it? Please. Please. Hi, guy. Not again, not again, not again! He didn't do it, why are we- We're not accusing him of doing it, we are accusing him of being at the scene of the crime. Which is very, very close to accusing him of doing it. You're not wrong, and the inspector will take that as critical evidence. But we need to know what happened. We need to know that he didn't eat the soap. Not again!
Well then, Mr. Natsume. It will appear that you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard. Again.
But
Hold your horses! Yeah. Door! Key! Locked! Entry! Exit entirely impossible! He's so flustered, he's being even stranger than normal.
What? You think that's an alibi? Could have just made a copy. You live in the same building after all. You'll have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure.
But... Misery me!
Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Moustache.
You horrible hairlock Sholmes!
He really has found himself in our tribal now, hasn't he?
Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting.
Locum student, Mr. Donald Esquire! I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but you have to help me! Please, I'm innocent!
Oh, right, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
And one more thing.
Oh, yes?
My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me. Oh, this poor guy.
He's so unlucky! Like, he just wanted nothing to do with this, and I don't blame him, really. And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken. Soseki-san found himself, once again, the prime suspect in a case of murder. F. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. Also you had a part to play in this! Because his deduction initially said that he was alone. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you! Yeah, no, exactly, actually. He's not wrong. Sholmes is right, actually. He's usually right. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now.
Yes, that's right. Ah, and of course.
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, who discovered Mr. Shamsphere.
Oh, Mr. John Garadeb, yes.
I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual.
Right, we must remember to go and talk to him later then. Okay. Well, I think that is probably a good place to end for today. Ending with Natsume Soseki arrested again. Man, this poor guy. And he got roped into another murder when he got back to Japan. This poor guy.
Oh well. I'm sure it'll still take us like 2 more streams to get through this one, to be perfectly honest. Cause like,
this is the second case? It's the second case, it's also the second game. So, Chronicon? Let me just snooze that. Alrighty, let me see who I can raid. And I will also switch to my end screen. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It's been a bit since we raided Rin. We can send you her way. Am I streaming Friday? I will be. So, I will be back on Friday for more of this. Probably a bit earlier, that way I can, because I have a hard deadline, so if I want to do 3 hours, I should probably do a little earlier or it's a shorter stream. I'll probably start a little earlier. You know what, Fridays are going to be a little earlier. What time early? By like an hour, so like yesterday. So 6 p.m. Eastern? Oh, Central? 5 question mark? If I'm doing math correctly? I mean, it's 3 Pacific. Central, like, -1, and the time zones are weird. I think it's 5 Central. Whatever it is normally, and then -1. Let's be real, I'm gonna be late. I know myself well enough. I'm probably gonna be late for by a little bit. But regardless, thank you guys for hanging out. I will be back on Friday. And yeah. Hope you guys have a lovely Wednesday, Thursday. I'll just say Thursday. But yeah.